Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. The public is getting a first look at a master plan for renovating Metro Park in Billings. The old grandstands will be torn down after a study showed that they're unsafe, along with the old barns on the east side of the property to make way for new additions. 3 plans were presented today by Charles D. Smith Architecture for county commissioners to decide on in the future. They would expand current facilities and propose adding new ones like expanding parking lots and an RV park next to the Yellowstone River. 17 changes are included in all 3 plans, some being beautification and landscaping, expansion of the Expo Center for more events, and improving the flow of traffic around the grounds by adding more lanes and parking lots. Well, flexible, the 3 plans that were proposed for the space that will be left behind the grandstands and livestock barns when those are demolished. The 3 plans all call for an amphitheater, enclosed arena, or a stadium hybrid with an amphitheater. The plan hopes to connect with downtown Billings and the East Area Urban Renewal District with a walking path over Main Street and perhaps the use of the seldom traveled 5th Avenue rail line.
I mean, I would just love to think about people from downtown, in the heart of downtown, be able to stay downtown and park, leave a car downtown and ride that rail out here, and it goes all the way out to Metro Park, and then walk across the pedestrian bridge and into the grounds, and vice versa.
Altogether, whatever plan is chosen would cost somewhere between $60 and $80 million, but the hope is that the development will be an economic opportunity for the city. And Q2's Mitch Legge will have more on the story tonight at 10. Well, after one more death and more than 24 new COVID-19 cases reported over the weekend, Montana added another 8 confirmed cases of COVID-19 today. 3 of those coming in Custer County. The state now has a total of 608 cases with 54 active cases and 19 deaths, the latest death happening in Bighorn County over the weekend. Despite seeing an improvement in recoveries recently and only 1 new case recorded today, Bighorn County is now designated as community spread. Health officials say the designation is a result of having a small number of cases where the person doesn't know how or where they became infected. We also learned that the 2 inmates presumed positive last week at Montana Women's Prison in Billings turned out to be negative, but a 3rd inmate has now tested positive for COVID-19 and is in quarantine. And those numbers of cases in Montana are going up over the past 3 weeks, but again, so have the number of tests being performed. Take a look here at this graphic. You can see the cases had dwindled near the end of May after nearly a month of being in the phase 1 shutdown, with 5 straight days of no cases reported at all beginning on May 21st. And since then, you can see the number of cases started to go up right before the state moved into phase 2 of the reopening on June 1st. There have continued to be cases reported every day since then, with 47 now over the past 4 days. But again, keep in mind, a lot more testing is now being done. And speaking of testing, there will be free public testing offered here in Billings this coming weekend. It'll be from 9 a.m. until noon on Saturday in the upper parking lot of Metro Park. Health officials tell us they have 2,000 tests as of right now, but there could be more tests and testing days in the future. Community surveillance testing across the state's part of Governor Bullock's reopening plan for Montana. A doctor's orders not needed. However, only people without COVID-19 symptoms and the ability to swirl a Q-tip swab in each nostril will be tested. Riverstone Health will notify all Yellowstone County participants of their test results. And there are 2 other public testing events scheduled for this week. Friday from 1 until 7 at Gardner's High School parking lot, and Saturday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. That'll be at the Park High School parking lot in Livingston. Well, can a catchy video and a social media be the secret to getting more youth to wear masks during the pandemic? The Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes hope so, and the Tribal Council is sponsoring a competition to get the point across to keep elders safe. Dennis Sprague has the story.
Outbreaks of disease have caused more than a community share of heartbreak on the Flathead Reservation over the decades. But now with talent and the tools of social media and video, there's hope this pandemic will be different. Enter Kid Truth.
My main goal was trying to reach the youth to raise awareness of this disease and how it could affect our elders. And our elders are our top priority as Native Americans.
He talks about his Kenna. He talks about his Papa. That's you know, grandparents on the Salish side and grandparents on the Kootenai side, and he just, even though it's catchy and it's fun, the message is there.
Don't get close, keep your distance if you coughing and sneezing. I put my mask up on my face so I know that I'm straight. I left my Kennet at the crib so I know that she's safe. I wash my hands in the sink, I ain't taking the risk. Said COVID-19, put your mask and your gloves on.
It's very understandable that the message isn't reaching the 12 to 18-year-olds because that isn't the target that is reached when you use print material, when you use, you know, so those conversations need to be intentional.
Wash your hands, wash your dirty hands, ayy. Wear your mask, pull up on your mask, ayy.
For Mendoza, who's had challenges in his own life, the video fits with his goal of providing responsibility and hope.
I kind of was like, I'm gonna have some fun with this, you know. Like I was thinking TikTok, I was thinking kids. I have kids of my own. I have 7 kids, so it's like if I could get these guys to do it, I know I could get everyone else to do it.
And with coronavirus outbreaks hitting some reservations hard, it's a message of growing importance.
I cross my T's and dot my I's when it come to COVID. My fellow Navajo's been dealing with the sickness.
And Kid Truth isn't the only producer in the campaign. 2 more videos are due in the next couple of weeks.
It's just been so amazing to work with these young men. And so, you know, just talking about where we're coming from with our messaging and who the target is, and then just kind of giving them, you know, artistic freedom to come up with whatever it is they're going to come up with.
Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
That campaign includes a TikTok dance challenge for each video with $100 gift cards to help pass the message. The youth are being asked to follow the artists and share the videos. We've also just learned that the stay-at-home order has been extended on another one of Montana's reservations, the Crow Reservation, for another 30 days until July 15th. Well, as we get deeper into the summer season, Billings-Logan Airport is seeing an increase in flights and numbers of passengers since April. According to the Director of Aviation and Transit, Billings-Logan will have direct flights to Minneapolis and Portland. Flights to Seattle, Denver, and Salt Lake have started to pick up again since the COVID-19 pandemic started to have a major effect on routes back in April. Legion Airlines has also started seasonal direct flights to Los Angeles and San Diego. Flights to Las Vegas will continue, and travelers will see more of those flights on the schedule.
We've actually been seeing some 500 passenger days. We averaged in April 64 passengers a day. 64, that's not very many. So we're very happy to see 500 in a day. We're actually, you know, there's cars out in the parking lot. We're seeing some business taking place at some of our concessions. So, you know, it's not typical summer traffic, and we weren't expecting typical summer traffic, but, you know, we're happy to have something going on right now. And I think it'll continue to pick up through the next 2 months.
All right, now for a first look at weather with Bob McGuire. And Bob, doesn't feel like it here, but in some parts of the state, it's going to get a little winter-like.
It is hard to believe. Here we are. We're talking a big weather pattern change, going from a hot and dry one to a cooler and wetter one. But not only cooler, check this out. That's a winter storm watch for much of southwestern Montana, from Bozeman all the way through Butte, all the way up towards Missoula, and up just outside past the Helena. And what we're looking at is maybe snow up to 8 inches deep at the 5,000-foot level. At the 6,500-foot level, it's more like 12 to 15 inches of snow up there. Travel is going to be difficult for the highways, or even travel into the backcountry conditions. Going to be pretty tough in that area. Let me show you how this thing's going to play out. This is where we are at, you see, 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening. So far, we're just starting to see a couple of scattered snow showers up in the Beartooth, but that's about it. But then later on, that Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, look at all the white snow down there, and all the scattered rain showers down the lower elevation. So this is what's happening. All that stuff is going to continue to push its way through the region off and on throughout much of Wednesday. We'll have a complete forecast coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, the last 72 hours have been deadly on Montana roads. Yesterday, there were 2 car crashes that killed 3 people. First in Bighorn County, a car carrying 2 teens from Billings drifted off the road on Old Highway 87, hitting an embankment, ejecting both passengers on impact. Also yesterday in Rosebud County, an 11-year-old girl from Libby died when she was ejected from the back seat of a car that rolled off a hill. Speed is thought to be a factor in both of those crashes. Earlier in the weekend, there were 5 people killed in a crash on the Rocky Boy Reservation in central Montana. And today around 10 a.m., there was a fatal crash on US 310 in Bridger, near Bridger. And you can find more information on KTVQ.com. KQ2news.com. Well, job losses continue to pile up in the oil patch. More than 9,200 jobs and counting just in the state of North Dakota. The latest report from North Dakota's Department of Mineral Resources warns that as funding for the government's Paycheck Protection Program expires, expect thousands of additional jobs to dry up as well. That's just some of the bad news from the Bakken oil fields this month. The number of active oil rigs is down to just 10 this month. Nationwide, the Baker Hughes rig count fell to 279 last week. That's an all-time low, dating all the way back to 1940. The current oil slump is also reflected in North Dakota's April production figures, which dropped by nearly 8 million barrels since March. North Dakota also saw the number of active fracking crews fall from 25 to 1. In Montana, Ellen Olson, the executive director of the Montana Petroleum Association, calls the current industry downturn the worst he's ever seen. Today's West Texas Intermediate crude oil price was hovering in the mid to upper 30s. Most industry analysts believe the demand for liquid fuels may have bottomed out in May. A return to full recovery levels, however, isn't expected until the first or second quarter of next year at best. Well, still to come on tonight's 5:30 News. While all states have reopened, some small businesses are still struggling to regain their footing. We'll tell you about some much needed help that may be on the way. And in sports, the Cody Night Rodeo will go on coming Saturday. Scott has a throwback with Dan Mortensen, one of the sport's all-time greats. That's coming up.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.